Ever notice how some people apologize for existing? They'll say sorry for asking a question, sorry for needing help, sorry for taking up space in a conversation. You might catch yourself doing it, apologizing for things that don't even need an apology. Or maybe you know someone who's impossibly generous, always giving, always there for everyone else. But the moment they need something, crickets. They'd rather suffer in silence than ask for a single favor. These aren't just quirks, they're echoes, patterns that got carved into someone's nervous system long before they had words for what they were feeling. When a child grows up without consistent love, affection, or emotional safety, it doesn't just hurt in the moment, it shapes everything. How they see themselves, how they move through the world, how they love, trust, connect, years, even decades later. Today, we're looking at what happens when someone grows up unloved, the types of people it creates, the invisible wounds they carry, and why understanding this might change how you see yourself or someone you care about. If this resonates, if it makes you think or feel something, stick around. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, maybe share this with someone who needs to hear it. This kind of conversation matters, and you being here, that matters too. All right, let's get into it. You know someone like this. They light up when they're helping. They'll drive across town at midnight to pick you up, listen to your problems for hours without mentioning their own. They remember your birthday, your favorite coffee order, that obscure band you mentioned once. Everyone calls them the best person I know. But here's what you don't see. That same person lies awake at night wondering if people actually like them or just use them. They're terrified that if they stop being useful, they'll be abandoned, because somewhere deep down they learned something devastating as a child. Love is conditional. It has to be earned. You're not valuable just for being you. You're valuable for what you do. When a child doesn't receive unconditional love, they become little strategists. They figure out how to be good enough, helpful enough, quiet enough to finally be seen, to finally matter. That pattern doesn't disappear when they grow up. It gets worse. They become adults who give and give and give, running on fumes, convinced that the second they stop, they'll be thrown away. Maybe that's you. Maybe you've built your entire identity around being needed. Or maybe you recognize someone in your life, someone who deserves to know they're worthy just for breathing, not for what they provide. Then there's the flip side, the person who's completely self-sufficient, almost aggressively so. They don't need anyone. They'll tell you straight up with a kind of pride, I'm good on my own. They're the ones who never ask for help, never let you see them cry, never fully let you in. But look closer. Beneath that cool independence is something else. Fear, a bone-deep terror of being vulnerable, of needing someone, of hoping for love and having it ripped away again. When a child reaches for comfort and finds nothing, or worse, finds criticism, neglect, or rejection, they make a decision. Not consciously, but deep in their survival part of their brain. Never again. I'll never need anyone again. They build walls, thick ones, and they become masters at convincing themselves those walls are freedom. This is what psychologists call avoidant attachment. People who learned that emotional dependency is dangerous, that showing need invites pain. So they shut down the part of themselves that craves connection and insist they're fine. Except they're not. They're lonely in a way they can't even name, pushing away the very intimacy they secretly long for because letting someone close feels like handing them a weapon. If this is you, here's the truth. Needing people isn't a weakness, it's being human. And those walls you built to protect yourself, they're also keeping out the very thing that could heal you. There's another pattern, quieter but just as powerful. The person who falls into relationships, romantic or otherwise, looking for something they can't quite put into words. They're drawn to people who are older, wiser, more established, people who'll take care of them, guide them, fix them. On the surface, it looks like love,
but underneath it's a search, a desperate, unconscious attempt to finally get the parenting they never had, the validation, safety, the feeling of being cherished without having to earn it. Psychologists call this reparenting, and here's the painful part. It rarely works. No partner, no friend, no mentor can go back in time and fill the hole left by an absent or unloving parent. They can love you now, sure, but they can't rewrite your past. These are the people who seem overly dependent, who panic when someone pulls away, who read into every text, every tone of voice, searching for signs they're about to be abandoned, because that's what they learned. Love leaves. The only way to survive is to cling tighter, be more lovable, somehow become enough. Sound familiar? Maybe you've been that person, or maybe you've been with that person, feeling the weight of needs you can't possibly meet. Either way, the root is the same. A child who never got to just be a child, who had to grow up too fast, or who never fully grew up at all. And then there's this one. The person who's wildly successful, straight-A student turned workaholic executive, the artist who never stops creating, the athlete training past exhaustion. From the outside, they look like they have it all together, driven, disciplined, exceptional. But ask them to sit still. Ask them to do nothing for a day. Watch what happens. They can't, because stillness is terrifying. In the quiet, something rises up. A voice that whispers, "You're not enough. You'll never be enough." So they run, they achieve, they pile up accomplishments like armor, hoping that if they're successful enough, maybe they'll finally feel worthy. Maybe someone will be proud. Maybe they'll finally be loved. This is what childhood emotional neglect looks like when it gets funneled into achievement. It's not about passion or ambition. It's about outrunning a wound. Trying to prove to ghosts, to the parent who didn't see them, who didn't celebrate them, who didn't make them feel valuable, that they matter. The cruel irony is they succeed, they achieve incredible things, but the emptiness remains, because the love they're chasing can't be earned through success. It had to be given freely, unconditionally, when they were small and powerless, and it wasn't. So if you've built your entire life around being impressive, around being the best, pause for a second. Ask yourself, who am I trying to prove myself to? And what would it feel like to be enough, exactly as I am, right now, with nothing to show for it? Finally, there's the person who lives in this painful kind of hope. They're still waiting for their parent to change, to apologize, to finally see them and love them the way they deserved all along. They might be 30, 40, 50 years old, but part of them is still that child sitting by the window, hoping someone comes home and notices them. These are the people who keep going back, who endure cold, critical, or emotionally absent parents, always giving one more chance, because walking away feels like giving up on the only shot they have to get what they needed. It's heartbreaking, and it's real. The push and pull between hope and despair, between reaching out and pulling back, never quite able to let go or fully engage. Breaking this pattern requires something radical: grieving. Grieving the parent they needed but didn't get, grieving the childhood they deserved, and accepting that some people, even parents, aren't capable of giving what we need, that it's not about you. It never was. So which one landed for you? Maybe you saw yourself in one of these, maybe all of them. Maybe you saw someone you love and suddenly understood them a little better. Here's the thing, not being loved as a child doesn't doom you, but it does shape you. It leaves marks. The first step to healing isn't pretending those marks don't exist. It's seeing them clearly, naming them, and deciding with intention and compassion what you want to do next. You deserved love then. You deserve it now. And recognizing these patterns, that's not weakness. That's the beginning of freedom.